Welcome, children. Today we are going to read chapter 2 of An Alien Hand, and the chapter's name is Bringing Up Curry. Let's talk about the author. The author of this chapter is Dhan Gopal Mukherjee. He was born in West Bengal in 1890, and he was the first Indian man of letters in the United States. He won a Newbery Medal in 1928. So let's start reading. Curry, a 5-month-old baby elephant, lives and grows up with his 9-year-old friend and keeper. Curry does not eat much, just about 16 kilograms of delicious twigs a day. Playful and sensitive, Curry saves a boy from drowning. This is all we will read this in chapter. Curry is a 5-month-old baby elephant. A baby elephant who lives and grows with his friend that is 9 years old, who takes care of him. Curry does not eat much. What he eats, just about 16 kilograms of twigs, small branches of trees. Twigs means small branches of soft trees. Playful and sensitive, Curry saves a boy from drowning. And Curry is like a child, playful and sensitive also by nature. And in the story, he saves a boy from drowning in water. Let's see how. Curry the elephant was 5 months old when he was given to me to take care of. I was 9 years old and I could reach his back if I stood on tiptoe. He seemed to remain that high for nearly 2 years. Yes, Curry was 5 months old and the keeper and the narrator, that was 9 years old. And he could reach his back if only stood on tiptoe, जो अपनी उंगलियों पे खड़ा होता था. He seemed to remain that high for nearly 2 years. The same height was only for 2 years. After that he grew up. We grew together. That is probably why I never found out just how tall he was. Both were growing together. So later on the height was not compared. He lived in a pavilion under a thatched roof which rested on thick tree stumps so that it could not fall in when Curry bumped against the poles as he moved out. He lived in a pavilion. Pavilion means rest room. That was made up of dried grass and it was supported by thick tree poles so that when he just moved in the house, then the poles did not fall. One of the first things Curry did was to save the life of a boy. Curry did not eat much, but he nevertheless needed 40 pounds of twigs a day to chew and play with. Yes, one thing that Curry did, he saved the life of a boy, and he did eat in one day 40 pounds of soft branches, with which he played with also, and he chewed them as food. Every day I used to take him to the river in the morning for his bath, and the narrator took him for bath daily to the river. He would lie down on the sandbank while I rubbed him with the clean sand of the river for an hour. And the narrator would rub his back After that he would lie in the water for a long time, and after cleaned by the narrator he would stand in the water. On coming out his skin would be shining like ebony. After coming out of water, his skin will shine like ebony. Ebony means a hard wood, and that is smooth. And he would squeal with pleasure as I rubbed water down his back. And he would cry with pleasure, means he was feeling very happy when the narrator rubbed water back from his body. Then I would take him by the ear because this is the easiest way to lead an elephant, and leave him on the edge of the jungle while I went into the forest to get some luscious twigs for his dinner. Yes, that time the elephant would relax there, and the narrator would go to the jungle to take out some soft, delicious branches for his dinner. One has to have a very sharp hatchet to cut down these twigs. It takes half an hour to sharpen the tool, hatchet, a tool to cut the twigs, because if a twig is mutilated, an elephant will not touch it. So the narrator has to sharpen the tool with which he has to cut the soft branches, and he would sharpen it so that its shape is not get changed and the elephant ate it happily. It was not an easy job to get twig saplings for curry. I had to climb all kinds of trees to get the most delicate and tender twigs, as he was very fond of the young branches of the banyan tree, which grows like a cathedral of leaves and branches. Yes, the narrator had to do much of the hard work to get dinner for curry, and he had to climb the trees, and especially the banyan tree branches was liked by the elephant. I was gathering some one spring day in March when I suddenly heard Curry calling to me in the distance. As he was still very young, the call was more like that of a baby than an elephant. One day, when the narrator was collecting some of the branches in month of March, what happened? Suddenly, Curry was calling out to him, and that was sounding like a baby's sound. I thought somebody was hurting him. So I came down from my tree, ran very fast to the edge of the forest where I had left him, but he was not there. And then the narrator ran in the same side from where the sound was coming. I looked all over, but I couldn't find him, and he didn't find the elephant. I went near the edge of the water, and I saw a black something struggling above its surface. Then it rose higher, and it was the trunk of my elephant. I thought he was drowning. When the narrator reached to the edge of water, what he saw that something black was on the surface of water, and it was appearing like the trunk of elephant. And what he thought that the elephant was drowning. I was helpless because I couldn't jump into the water and save the 400 pounds of him, since he was much higher than I. The narrator was helpless totally, as he was not able to carry so heavy weight that is much higher than him from the river. But I saw his back rise above the water, and the moment he caught my eye, he began to trumpet and struggle up to the shore. When the narrator saw the elephant's back in water, and he saw that he was making sound and was struggling to come up to the shore. Then what happened? The elephant pushed the narrator into the water, and when the narrator fell into the stream, he saw a boy lying flat on the bottom of the river. He had not altogether touched bottom, but was somewhat afloat. What he saw there, that a boy was on the surface of the water. He saw that the boy was lying flat on the bottom of the river, and he was altogether touched bottom that was near to the bottom. I came to the surface to take my breath, and there Curry was standing. And then the narrator came to the surface, and he took his breath, and the elephant was standing there, his feet planted in the sandbank, and his trunk stretched out like a hand waiting for mine. Now the narrator took his breath, and he saw that the elephant was standing there and stretching his trunk for help. I dived down again. The narrator again dived down in the water and pulled the body of the drowning boy to the surface. Then he helped the boy from drowning and pulled it from the surface to the surface of water. Not being a good swimmer, I couldn't swim ashore, and the slow current was already dragging me down. The narrator was not a swimmer, and he was trying his best to save the boy. Seeing us drift by in the current, Curry, who was usually slow and ponderous, suddenly darted down like a hawk and came halfway into the water, where I saw him stretch out his trunk again. I raised up my hand to catch it, and it slipped. Yes, now when the elephant saw that the narrator was not able to save the boy, then he went himself into the water and then stretched his trunk again, and the narrator tried to catch it to save himself and the drowning boy, but his hand slipped from the trunk. I found myself in the water again, but this time I found that the water was not very deep. So I sank to the bottom of the river and doubled my feet under me, and then suddenly kicked the riverbed and so shot upwards like an arrow, in spite of the fact that I was holding the drowning boy with my hand. Now, this time, the narrator, as the water was not very deep, he doubled his feet and then kicked back, and then, like an arrow, come to the surface of water and saved the drowning boy. As my body rose above the water, I felt a lasso around my neck. This frightened me. I thought some water animal was going to swallow me. The narrator felt a lasso around his neck. What was that? A pull around his neck, and this frightened him. He thought that some animal has tried to swallow him. I heard Curry squealing. At that time, the elephant was also making sounds of crying, and I knew it was his trunk about my neck. He pulled us both ashore. Yes, because of the efforts of the elephant, both the boy and the narrator were saved. Curry was like a baby. He had to be trained to be good, and if you didn't tell him when he was naughty, he was up to more mischief than ever. Curry was like a child, and he had to be trained what is good or what is bad. If the narrator didn't tell him that he was doing naughty things or he was doing wrong things, he would do more mischief. So the narrator had to scold him like a baby. For instance, one day somebody gave him some bananas to eat. Very soon he developed a great love for ripe bananas. For example, one day somebody gave him bananas, and he became a very soon he developed a great love for ripe bananas. We used to keep large plates of fruit on a table near a window in the dining room. Yes, he loved bananas very much. So what happened one day? The bananas were on the dining table. One day all the bananas on that table disappeared, and my family blamed the servants for eating all the fruit in the house. So one day the banana disappeared from the dining room, from the plate, and what the family members thought? The servants had stolen them. A few days later, the fruit disappeared again. The same thing happened again after few days. This time, the blame was put on me. Now, this time, the narrator was to be blamed for that, and I knew I had not done it with the servants. I knew I had not done it. It made me very angry with my parents and the servants, and the narrator became very angry, for I was sure that they had taken all the fruit, not mine. The next time the fruit disappeared, I found a banana all smashed up in Curry's pavilion. So next time when the fruit was disappeared, the narrator found banana in Curry's restroom. This surprised me very much, and he was surprised, for I had never seen fruit there, and as you know, he had always lived on twigs. Yes, Curry was always fond of eating small branches, and there was never a fruit there in his house. So on that day, the narrator thought that the bananas were not disappeared, but they were eaten by Curry. Next day, while I was sitting in the dining room wondering whether I should take some fruit from the table, Without my parents' permission, a long black thing, very much like a snake, suddenly came through the window and disappeared with all the bananas. The narrator was sitting at the dining table and he was thinking he should take permission for taking bananas from his parents or not. But suddenly, the trunk of curry came and all the bananas were disappeared. I was very much frightened because I had never seen snakes eat bananas. What he was thinking? That it was a snake, and he was frightened at that time. And I thought it must be a terrible snake that would sneak in and take fruit. I crept out of the room with great fear in my heart, ran out of the house. The narrator was thinking that it was a terrible snake, but actually it was Curry who was doing that thing. Feeling sure that the snake would come back into the house, eat all the fruit, and kill all of us. So he ran out of the house because of fear that the snake would come and eat all the fruit and kill all the family members. As I went out, I saw Curry's back disappearing in the direction of the pavilion, and I was so frightened that I wanted his company to cheer me up. At that time, when the narrator was so much frightened, he went into the direction of restroom of Curry, and he wanted his company to make himself happy. When he ran after him into the pavilion, he found him there eating bananas. What he saw there, the Curry was enjoying bananas. I stood still in astonishment. He was surprised. The bananas were lying strewn all around him. All around the bananas were spreading there. He stretched out his trunk and reached for one far away from where he was standing. Yes, with the help of his trunk, he was taking bananas and eating them and enjoying them. That instant, the trunk looked like a black snake, and we realized that Curry was a thief. I went to him, pulled him out by the ear, and joyously showed my parents that it was Curry and not I that had eaten all the fruit these many weeks. So when the narrator saw the black trunk of the elephant, he just realized that who was stealing all the bananas, and he showed that to his parents, and they understood that the thief was Curry, not the narrator. Then I scolded him, for elephants understand words as well as children. And I said to him, next time I see you stealing fruit, you will be whipped. Yes, and what the narrator said is that if next time he will steal bananas, he will be whipped. Whipped means beaten by a hunter. He knew that we were all angry with him, even the servants. His pride was so injured that he never stole another thing from the dining room. And from then on, if anybody gave him any fruit, he always squealed as if to thank them. And from that day, when he was scolded by the narrator, he was so injured, his feelings of pride were so injured that he never stole the things from dining room, and when anybody gave him any fruit, he just cried and to said them thank you. An elephant is willing to be punished for having done wrong, but if you punish him without any reason, he will remember it and pay you back in your own coin. If an elephant does something wrong, then he doesn't mind the punishment given by the owner, but if there is no mistake of the elephant or without any reason you are punishing, then he will take revenge and he will pay you back in your own coin, means अपनी भाषा में ही वो आपको जवाब देगा. An elephant must be taught when to sit down, when to walk, when to go fast, when to go slow. You teach him these things as you teach a child. If you say dhat and pull him by the ear, he will gradually learn to sit down. It's like a child. An elephant is taught so many things like to sit, to walk, to go fast, or to move slowly. And these things are taught like a child to him. If you say dhat and pull him by the ear, caught his ear, then he will gradually learn to sit down. Similarly, if you say Mali and pull his trunk forward, he will gradually learn that it is a signal to walk. Kari learned Mali after 3 lessons, but it took him 3 weeks to learn That. Although Kari was a fast learner, but he learned Mali after 3 lessons, and then 3 weeks it took to learn That. He was not good at sitting down. Do you know why an elephant should be taught to sit down? Because he grows taller and taller than you who take care of him, so that when he is 2 or 3 years old, you can only reach his back with a ladder. It is therefore better to teach him to sit down by saying That, so that you can climb upon his back, for who would want to carry a ladder around all the time? Now the narrator tells us why it is necessary to teach an elephant to sit down. Because elephant grows so tall by the time that it's very difficult for the owner to reach his back, and he has to take a ladder. That is not possible all the time. So it's better to train him to sit down by saying That. The most difficult thing to teach an elephant is the master call. It generally takes 5 years to learn it properly. The master call is a strange hissing, howling sound as if a snake and a tiger were fighting each other, and you have to make that kind of noise in his ear. Yes, what is the most difficult task to teach an elephant? That is the master call. And it takes how many years? 5 years to teach it. The master call is a strange hissing, howling sound that is made by a snake and a tiger when they are fighting with each other, and that has to be spoken by the master in the ear of the elephant. And do you know what you expect an elephant to do when you gave him the master call? If you are lost in the jungle and there is no way out, and everything is black except the stars above, you dare not stay very long anywhere. The only thing to do then is to give the master call, and at once the elephant pulls down the tree in front of him with his trunk. This frightens all the animals away. As the tree comes crashing down, monkeys wake from their sleep and run from branch to branch. So why it is so important to teach an elephant the master call? Suppose if the owner or the master of the elephant get lost in the jungle and there is no way out, not able to find out his way in the darkness, and there are stars above only, and you don't able to find your way, what you have to do, you have to make the same hissing sound in the elephant's ear. And what at that time the elephant will do, he will pull down all the trees with his trunk, and this sound will frighten the animals, and the trees will crush down in front of the elephant, and the monkeys will swing from branch to branch. You can see them in the moonlight, and you can almost see the stags running in all directions below. You can hear the growl of the tiger in the distance. Even he is frightened. Then the elephant pulls down the next tree and the next and the next. Soon you will find that he has made a road right through the jungle straight to your house. So what happened at that time? He crushed down or pulls down the trees after trees after trees, and then make a path from the jungle to your house. And all the animals, because of that sound of the crushing of the trees, falling of trees, they ran in different directions. So it becomes safe for the master and the elephant to reach to their house. Children, I hope you have understood the chapter. Just read it again and try to note down the difficult words and their meanings. Thank you.